Another day in the fish room. I have to move a lot of fish around today, but mostly I want to get rid of the Hydra that I found in 2 of my aquariums. So I'll show you guys how I do that, and we'll see what other trouble we get into. So let's get started. I'm also going to be testing this poly bag sealer that I just bought. I'm so fortunate to have you guys support me, and the orders have been flooding in lately. So I'm trying to improve my shipping methods. I use breather bags, so I'm going to test today some breather bags without fish in it, what they can handle when they're sealed versus when they're just normally tied. One of the tanks with Hydra in it is this 10-gallon with this group of super Dumbo dragon guppies. I've been overfeeding with the brine because this strain has been struggling since I got it. It looks like they have almost like wasting disease or internal parasites, so I've been deworming them and feeding extra to kind of help them pass all of it. You know, you can see some of these females. It's affecting mostly the females, which is weird. They look kind of like they're wasting away. But the Hydra are all over this tank. Let's see if we can focus in on them here. You can see they have like those little, they look like anemones almost, and they, those little ends there are like stinging cells. And you know, when you overfeed the brine shrimp, sometimes you can, I don't know if they're always in the tank or they come with the eggs or how they get in your tank, but if you're feeding a lot of live baby brine like I am and you get these in your tank, they'll explode if you don't catch it, and I didn't catch it in time and now they're all over. This is just showing, you know, the rock where I could focus in, but it's all over the glass on the side. So I'm going to show you how I get rid of it. What I use to get rid of Hydra is this canine dewormer, the Safeguard 4. It's fenbendazole is the active ingredient. And you can get this at Petco. It's not behind the counter, so you can just go ahead and grab it off the shelf. It's the one meant for the 10-pound dog treatment. And what I do is I take a water bottle and I measure out 10 ounces of water. You know, we have a scale here, so I would zero this scale out and then add 10 ounces of water to it. And then I just add 1 packet to that 10 ounces of water and give it a good shake. After shaking it for a couple minutes, it's a little sudsy, but that's all right. You want to make sure that it's evenly distributed throughout the water. And 1 ounce of this mixture treats 10 gallons. So that's, you know, that's a little too much. I'll fix it later, but I have a 10-gallon to treat and a 20-gallon to treat. So I'm going to do 1 ounce for the 10 gallons and 2 ounces for the 20. And all the credit to this method goes to Ray's Aquaria. I'll link the video that taught me how to do this. I'm just going to pour 1 ounce right into this aquarium. And you can see I have a lot of snails in here. I'm not concerned about the fenbendazole killing the snails. I wish it did, but it doesn't. I've also used this in tanks with shrimp in it, and they've been completely fine. You'll start seeing results within 3 days. Start seeing the Hydra shrink up and die. I have the heat sealers set up, and I've been testing different water levels with the breather bags that I use. And I'm just gonna press here. And just like that, it's sealed. So for those of you who don't know, these are breather bags. So when you're shipping fish, I like this method better because the oxygen is going through the bag versus when you have a bag like if you're going to a pet store and you had air on the top here. You know, it would be like this much air and this much water. With these bags, in theory, they have a lot more oxygen because they're pulling from the box versus just the air that you have in the bag. So normally I individually wrap each fish and I have to hand tie it like this. And you know, once in a while I'll get a leak, but usually the fish make it. But with this heat sealer, you can see the difference already. You know, that's not gonna leak. I gotta test it in a bit to make sure that it doesn't leak. But I have almost twice as much water versus this bag here, which is great. With this method already, I've had fish survive over 8 days in the mail, individually bagged. And with this method, that kind of just helps, you know, even more. They have more water, more surface area to pull the air from the bag. Now, I don't know what it is with the post office, but every time they see a fragile sticker or live fish, I feel like they're just chucking boxes. So I got to test these bags and make sure that, you know, as they're being chucked by the post office workers, that they won't explode in the box. So the first bag did leak after being thrown. So I actually double sealed it now. So it's sealed here and I put another seal there. I'm not sure if it was because it was one of my first seals, I didn't have it down long enough, or if the seal's not strong enough, I have to put the heat sealer has a dial that you can keep raising the depth of the seal, how many millimeters the bag is. So I'm gonna just keep testing these bags, chucking them as hard as I can at the floor, or just tossing them, because I don't want any leaks. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. This bag survived getting chucked on the floor 5 times, and that was just a casual like lob, and it dropped from maybe about 5 feet. And then I just threw it, like you just saw, really hard at the floor, and it did explode. So I doubt that, you know, safe in the box, wrapped up, insulated, that they would be hit that hard, that they would explode. I think that the Tide version would also explode if I threw it that hard. So I think this is solid. I'm gonna test it out on a few and see if they make it all right. Couldn't help myself, and I wouldn't think this is a true science experiment if I didn't chuck the Tide bag on the floor the same as I did that one. So it's confirmed that one would also explode. So I feel confident that, you know, this will be fine. The fish that need to be moved the most are these angelfish that grew up in this 10-gallon. And there's a ton in here, so they've, you know, outgrown the tank. This tank gets a 50% water change every other day, so I think that's fine for right now. If I left them in there while they're being sold, I think that would be okay. But I'm gonna move them down to this 20-gallon where I have the Bozeman Eye rainbow fish, the Gary Lang strain. I have the 1-inch fry here. Now I'm gonna move these fish to this tank here with the Dumbo Ear red tail guppies. If you've been following for a while, you know I was proud of this strain. I really like the top-down view. And the first batch I bought didn't breed true, and it looked like this batch was breeding true as well, but it turns out they're not at all. You know, I would avoid this strain completely. I don't know what they're doing in Thailand to make the ears super blue and really big. None of the males that have grown up in this strain have that trait at all, once again. So I'm gonna move these with the other colony that I bought originally. I had them separated because I thought this line was better. It's not, so they'll combined so I can save on tank space. Got everybody moved finally. Took a little longer than I thought. But we have the rainbows in this tank here, and it's interesting when you put them in with substrate and plants, they start to show color right away. These guys were like almost washed out in the tank with no substrate at all, the one right here where the angelfish are now. And the angelfish are definitely happy, you know, enjoying all the room. I didn't realize how many I had until I scooped my net in there. The first scoop, I felt like I had a pound of angelfish, and the second scoop again felt like I had a pound of angelfish. So I'm glad there's a lot in here, and you know, there's more room for them to swim around and grow out. So that was another day in the fish room. If you like what I'm doing and want to help support the channel, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.